or I'll drain every last ounce.
After so many years of fighting for their rights and safety, the mutants finally have their very own nation. Yes, I'm talking about Krakoa. Keen X-Men fans would know that in Krakoa, there are particular protocols that allow their residents to be resurrected or reborn, basically making them immortal. But not all mutants need that, especially not the psychic vampire who has been around for 17 millennia. This vampire had sunk her teeth into the Marvel Universe and trapped every reader's heart since her introduction in July 1983. You must have guessed who we are talking about today, but in case you haven't, I'm talking about Selene. Standing tall at a height of 5'10" with electric blue eyes and jet black hair, Selene Gallio is a creature to behold. Her powers have allowed her to stick around for so long, and as fans, we do not see her going away anytime soon. But how does she manage to do that? What is the secret behind her long life? In today's video, we will be talking about that, and hopefully by the end of the video, we might just be lucky enough to know how to survive a fight against her. Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin.
Control mine.
Who is Selene? Why is she the oldest mutant alive? While she may not look like it, Selene was born 17,000 years ago, before the Arias became the most prevalent race in the world, and after the ocean swallowed up Atlantis. Selene was born somewhere in Central Europe. She was born in a tribe where having a young mother was normal. But as we know, when the mother is quite young, there can be complications during childbirth, and a lot of times it becomes difficult to save both the child and the mother. Her mother managed to survive the childbirth, but she passed away before Selene was old enough to speak her first words. That was obviously because of Selene's powers. This was noticed by the tribal leaders. So to keep the child alive, the elders told her mother's people to sacrifice themselves to Selene. This remained a trend until no one was left from that side of the family except Selene. All the lives that were willingly given to her gave Selene the sustenance that kept her going. Since she was around that era, Selene had a run-in with another villain of the Marvel Universe who had been dominating our heroes for a while. I will give you a hint. He is an imposter, and he has a cannibalistic power much like Selene's, which allows him to get his abilities. If you're thinking about Kulan Gath, then you are right. The imposter, Kulan Gath, and Selene started going loggerheads from the Hyborian Age, so their feud has been running for a while. She had tried a lot more than that to stay around for longer though. When the Roman Empire was flourishing and had grown into one of the strongest empires in the world, Selene became a part of it. There she met a fallen senator called Alephus. She seduced the broken man with promises of love and immortality as long as he helped her make countless sacrifices. Alephus at first was okay with this plan, and he willingly gave his blood to her pawns to make the sacrificial symbol on the walls of the city. However, deep down, Alephus was a kind man. He had saved a slave girl from starvation, and not wanting her to suffer a horrible fate, he warned her about the event that would take place. The younger girl informed her father, who informed the authorities. The authorities decided to burn both Alephus and Selene at the stake for their plan of mass murder. Selene found out about the whole thing and felt betrayed by Alephus, so she turned him into a vampire creature and left him alone for the rest of his life after taking his life force. She has tried time and time again to make more sacrifices to drain the life forces, and sometimes she definitely succeeds. But the sacrifice that her tribe made for her is the biggest reason why she managed to stay alive for so long. How does Selene's touch absorb life energy? I know I have been mentioning her deadly touch for a while, but how does this touch of hers actually work? Allow me to explain. Overall, her power is supernatural in nature, There is no scientific way I can explain her touch, but it is made clear through the use of her power that Selene can control exactly how much she exerts her power. When she touches someone, she forms a psychic connection with her victims. This allows her to psionically drain the life force of her victim and take it into her body. While taking the life force of her victim, the cells in her body rejuvenate and become younger. On the other hand, her victim's body dries up and eventually crumbles if she drains the entire life energy from them. The life force that she drained from the victim is the key secret behind her youthful appearance. But this is the same energy that she uses when she is attacking, using her other abilities. So if the life force is drained from her significantly, we see Selene look older in an instant. She ages rapidly owing to the depletion of the power, and to return to her youthful state, she has to simply drain another person. As long as she can maintain a particular unspoken amount of life force, Selene does not age. As we do not know how much life force she needs, we cannot say how frequently she needs to feed on the life force. Can she transform someone into a psychic vampire? Sucking out someone's life force has to come with some sort of pros and cons. There's no way this type of life-threatening act can come without its own price. Whenever Selene sucks out someone's life force, she ends up taking their memories with the life force as well. Obviously, if she is getting access to the memories of a person, she is getting into a person's head. Now, this ability of hers allows her to control people to a certain degree. Feeding on a victim's life force in a significant amount, but not draining them, results in that victim turning into a psychic vampire under Selene's control. But the exact mechanics of this type of control that she exerts on her victims is entirely unknown and hard to guess. How does Selene use absorbed life energies to boost her superhuman abilities? One of the major pros of having this power is how it affects Selene's body. Upon sucking out someone's life force, as I have mentioned before, Selene grows younger. Clearly, the cells of her body become younger, effectively changing her body age to a far younger one than her actual age. So, understandably, Selene is definitely strong for her age. But that is not all. The life force that she absorbs, in a way, enhances her already present physical strengths. She becomes a far stronger opponent once she gets a considerable amount of life force. Other than glowing blue with red eyes, which can be quite intimidating, Selene gets superhuman strength, which allows her to lift up to 2 tons of weight. Her speed increases manifold, allowing her to move at a superhuman speed of around 175 miles per hour. However, this is not a continuous speed that she can maintain. It happens in short bursts of high speed. This is because whenever she uses her super speed, there is a significant depletion of her life force energy, leading to her rapid aging. But she makes up for it with her superhuman stamina and unexpectedly sensitive reaction time. Selene has quite the formidable durability, which makes it extremely difficult to defeat her. She can withstand a bullet to her heart. A knife stab wound is nothing more than a mere scratch to her. In fact, she can even survive being thrown into lava. How does Selene's body produce and manipulate intense heat and flames? You might be curious about how Selene managed to survive when she was thrown into lava. I have the answer to it. Selene manages to survive this through her pyrokinetic ability. She can psychically create flames around her. Talk about a hot body. Once she has created those flames up to a certain radius, Selene can easily control and manipulate the flames that are present. She can easily direct the flames in whichever way she pleases. This ability of hers also helps her control flames from other sources. So, if she were to face off against someone who has clear pyrokinetic abilities, chances are Selene would simply snuff out their flames. Now, there is something that is extremely cool about Selene's pyrokinetic abilities that I have to talk about. When it comes to other pyrokinetic users that we have seen, whether it is Zuko from Avatar or the Phoenix Force of Marvel Universe itself, whenever they use their ability, the thing that they are focusing on is actually on fire. There's no doubt about the fact that the thing that they focused on is going to be burnt to dust. There will be no remains, no blood, no bone, no ash. But when it comes to Selene, the flames that she produces can be illusionary in nature, as in they might seem like flames that will burn you, but actually, there aren't any flames at all. Whenever it comes to her body, however, Selene protects herself using a psionic shield. Her body is not necessarily fireproof. Instead, her psychic powers work overtime to create this fire-repellent layer that covers her entire body to make sure she does not get burnt. Is she the mother of all telepaths? The title Mother of Telepaths is not a title that is given to anyone. So certainly, when it is given to Selene, there has to be a reason. Selene, who has been around for a while, is an external. She is a part of this loosely connected subset of mutants who are not only immortal, but have some sort of connection to one another. She obviously ended up within this subset because she has been around for a while. So, if she is the first telepath to have ever existed since 17,000 years ago, then in a way, that does make her the mother of all telepaths. She is a high-order telepath, owing to the sheer intensity of her powers. Talking to someone psychically or reading people's minds is something she can do without using even the most minuscule amount of her powers. So you can only imagine how strong she is. It has been shown that she can easily do all these things over a huge distance with ease. So Selene definitely would not have required Cerebro to reach out to every other mutant had she wanted to do that. Other than these basic telepathic feats, Selene is also able to shield herself from psionic intrusion. This makes her an extremely unpredictable villain, for obvious reasons. She can also project psychic blasts, which can hurt people without exerting any physical strain on her body. These bolts are so strong that they can easily make her victims pass out or experience severe amounts of pain depending on the intensity of the psychic bolt. She used this psychic bolt to subdue Hulk himself when they faced off against one another. And I don't need to tell you that it is extremely difficult to take down the Hulk, so there is a lot of credibility to her psionic bolts. If you can put your victim in a hypnotic trance, are you truly a telepath? Well, Selene can. Thanks to her telepathic prowess, putting people into a hypnotic trance for a moment is something she can do in the blink of an eye. Remember how I mentioned that she can have momentary bursts of superhuman speed? Yeah, well, whenever she uses that speed, Selene also puts her victims in a hypnotic trance for a moment. This makes them think she is teleporting when actually, she's not. Her telepathic abilities are so strong that she can easily project herself astrally, which helps her survive some brutal blows. And she can survive for quite some time in her astral form, which even popular telepaths struggle to do. This is probably why she is considered to be the mother of all telepaths. Can she transform herself into a shadow? Selene is the Black Queen of the super elite Hellfire Club, and rightfully so. While in the previous iterations of this character, one might think that she got the position because of her dark sorceress powers. I personally think the current iteration of her character is much more suited for that position. In recent years, Selene is depicted in the comics as the substantial mass of darkness that lives and breathes amongst us. She can easily appear and disappear, and not only that, but she is able to control the darkness at her will. She can use the darkness to even imprison her victims. In some of the panels where we see this happen, I find Selene reminding me of the horror icon Tomi by Junji Ito. The same pupilless eyes, pale skin, and jet black hair. When Selene used this power of hers, her entire body became tendrils of darkness, except her face. Those tendrils wrap around her victims, imprisoning and engulfing them, while her pale face floats around them. Scary, isn't it? Does she have more magical abilities than Doctor Strange? Selene has been around for a while, not just because of her life force draining power, which no doubt has come quite in handy whenever the topic of immortality was in question, but I think the greatest thing that helped her survive for so long was her sheer wit and cunning. Selene had a knack for magic, dark magic to be more specific. Her curiosity pushed her to gain more and more mystical knowledge, and as she has been around for a while, her knowledge is practically endless. She is such a strong sorceress that at one point, the Eye of Agamotto, the magical talisman that stays with the Sorcerer Supreme, chose her as a candidate. Who is the current Sorcerer Supreme in Earth 616? Doctor Strange. So clearly, without any doubt, we can say that her magical abilities are comparable to that of the Doctor. Her magical prowess is so huge that all the things that she can do are yet to be cataloged. But so far, we have seen her cast and counteract spells with ease. She can bring forth monsters from other dimensions without much trouble, and she can also project magical energy bolts to hurt her victims. Is she immortal? This is a very good question. Is she immortal? Well, if we look at her character, we have to say that yes, Selene is immortal. It is no secret that Selene's main power is not immortality, but it comes with immortality. As long as Selene is siphoning the life force from unsuspecting victims, she can remain alive, and there are plenty of people who would love to die at the hands of Selene. So yeah, she can definitely survive long enough to be considered immortal. As she is an external, she can rapidly heal her wounds. Having someone's life force definitely speeds up the healing significantly. Other than that, Selene, who can survive in her astral form for long enough, can easily resurrect herself from death. This too seals in her identity as an immortal character. Does she have any weakness? Throughout the video, I have detailed everything regarding Selene's power. Anyone can see that she is not someone you can defeat easily. You have to defeat her by exploiting her weakness, and not by simply besting her in a fight. But what are these weaknesses that you can exploit? Well, for one, you can always drain out her life force. If you make her use her superhuman speed for a long period of time, theoretically speaking, you would be able to drain out her powers quickly enough and make her die from old age. Another way you can kill her off is by ripping her heart out and eating it. This has to be done by another external and not just anyone. Now, as I have mentioned, externals are a group of immortal mutants who are connected to one another. If one external rips out her heart and eats it, then they have to do the same for every other external. If they fail to do so, then Selene will come back. Well, that would be quite the gritty end to this character, let's be honest. Do you see anyone taking down Selene? Because I don't. No matter who attacks her, she would be able to survive it owing to her astral projection power. So like a toxic ex, Selene will come back, no matter how much you try to get rid of her.
You see, Emma can't be trusted. And if it were up to me,
it isn't.
Marvelous verdict. As most fans of the X-Men series know, Selene has left Krakoa. Free from the limitations that the nation put on her, Selene has been freely feasting on the life forces of several people. She obviously has a sinister plan, and that involves reviving externals who died creating the External Gate after claiming it for herself. Selene joined hands with Orcus, who have made it abundantly clear that they have no good intentions, so we can only imagine what type of new drama this new alliance will bring our way. Over the years, Selene has made her place as a formidable opponent in the Marvel Universe, so it won't be surprising if we end up finding that she has joined hands with more than just Orcus. Also, before I end this video, let me quickly mention one thing that I am super curious about. Spider-Man fans have reasons to believe that Madam Web has joined hands with Selene because Madam Web's looks change like Selene's does after her powers are drained. If Madam Web ends up becoming one of Selene's psychic vampires, then that would be quite an interesting dynamic to follow. And if you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one and be safe. Thanks, everyone.